I had always been a curious kid, always longing for adventure and a touch of danger. When summer rolled around, I thought it was the perfect chance to break away from my small town. I signed up for a camp nestled deep in the woods, a place shrouded in local folklore and whispers. Willowcrest Camp, they called it. Nobody spoke of it with excitement. It was more of a detached, resigned acknowledgement. I often heard tales of the mysterious old cabin at the camp's edge, rumored to have been used for rituals by long-gone settlers. But I was determined to uncover its secrets, to find out if the stories were true. When I arrived at camp that August morning, sunlight streamed through the tall trees, casting dancing shadows on the ground. The counselors greeted us with warm smiles, but I could sense something off, a tension lurking behind their cheerful facades. As time went on, I made friends with a few other campers. Tommy, who had an appetite for ghost stories, and Leah, whose laughter could fill the darkest corners of the forest. On our third day, the camp hosted a fire storytelling night, a tradition I keenly looked forward to. The counselors gathered us around the fire, flames crackling and pops filling the still air. One of the counselors, a young woman named Sarah, began to speak in hushed tones about the origins of Willowcrest. She told us that the camp was built near an ancient burial ground for the native tribes who once inhabited the area. There were tales of restless spirits seeking vengeance against those who disturbed their sanctity. I shivered, drawn in by the story, but my adventurous spirit only yearned for more. Weeks passed, and as the eerie occurrences began, I brushed them off as campfire tales rustling in the woods at odd hours, shadows fleeing between the trees during our nighttime hikes, a sense of being watched that sent chills down my spine. One afternoon, while exploring the deeper parts of the woods, I stumbled across that old cabin, the one festooned with crumbling vines and darkened windows. I approached it slowly, heart pounding with excitement. What secrets lay behind those doors? I pushed the door open, and the air inside was cold, a stark contrast to the warmth outside. Dust motes floated in the light, streaming through cracks in the walls. Strange symbols adorned the interior walls etched deep into the wood. I felt a strange pull to them, a whisper of something ancient resonating in my veins. As I traced the lines with my fingers, I heard a voice, a soft, pleading sound that echoed through the chamber. "Help me, please." I recoiled, my mind racing. Was I losing it? I stepped back, hitting the wall, sending a shower of dust into the air. "Is anyone there?" I called out, my voice trembling. Nothing answered. I bolted from the cabin, my heart racing as I fled back to the camp. I needed to tell someone. I needed to share what I had found, but my friends laughed it off as my imagination getting the best of me. Soon after, Tommy went missing. The camp was turned upside down searching for him, but I knew where he might be. I felt that whisper urging me back to the cabin, a strange sensation tugging at my mind, insisting that something was off. On the last night of camp, the counselors gathered us for one final ghost story. As darkness cloaked the surroundings, anticipation crackled in the air. The same counselor, Sarah, spoke again, her voice lower, almost a whisper. "The spirits of Willowcrest protect their woods fiercely. They guard the lost and take those who wander too far." The hairs on my neck stood up. Had she sensed the unease that had settled over me? That night, against every rational thought battling in my mind, I returned to the cabin, drawn by the insatiable need to discover the truth. I approached, heart hammering in my chest, and pushed the door open. The whisper came again. I stepped inside, the air heavier than before. Shivering, I began to hear multiple voices murmuring, growing louder. "You should not have come." I turned abruptly, and that is when I saw Tommy standing in the corner, a shocked expression on his face. But this was not the carefree boy who had laughed beside me. His eyes were hollow, devoid of life. "Get away from me," I screamed, but a shadow enveloped him. It twisted around him like smoke, wrapping its tendrils around his very essence. "They took me," he said, desperation dripping from his voice. "They are not happy you entered their home. You should leave while you can." Suddenly, the cabin throbbed with energy, shadows dancing erratically, and with one last surge, I leapt through the doorway and bolted into the night. I kept running as the forest screamed behind me, branches reaching out like fingers to catch their prey. I returned to the camp, breathless and terrified. My heart raced as I searched for help. I found the counselors sitting around the fire, laughing, but their laughter turned to silence when they caught sight of me. "Where is Tommy?" one asked, eyes sharp with concern. He's gone. We have to leave," I stammered, pointing toward the darkness of the woods. I turned to look back, dread pooling in my stomach. Something is wrong here. As night stretched on, I watched shadows flicker near the tree line. Just before dawn, the bus arrived to take us home, and relief washed over me. I learned that while curiosity may lead you through new paths, some doors should remain closed. Back home, the memories of that summer haunted my thoughts, but often it felt like an echo of a dream, until one fateful night I received a phone call. "Max, it's me." I dropped the phone, heart racing. I knew that voice. After all this time, I thought it was a part of my past. "You shouldn't have left, Max." The whisper came again, wrapping around my spine like ice. "I still need you here." I stood frozen, staring out the window into the darkened trees, knowing all too well that the whispers never truly fade. They linger, waiting patiently for the curious to return.